6-19 win.
Yeah. Didn't even make the tournament, did they?
Oh, I don't
believe
so.
they did.
Don't think so. I think they had a chance. They needed a whole bunch of tiebreakers to break their way on the last day, and it didn't
work out.
But
what an improvement year over year. And, if you do get that victory, it would be a big signature victory for Coach Fitzpatrick. You see that as you start to build programs. We've seen it with Coach Couch with the football program. You think about the ascension of Scott's football, that first big victory 2 years ago on the road at Trine at their homecoming when they blew out Trine. Then they add key victory number 2 when they beat Albion in the MIAA championship game. Then they take the program to the next level, is what Coach Couch says, by beating Mount Union. 3 signature victories in a 2-year span. That's what Coach Fitzpatrick's trying to build here.
Sure, you look at I saw a very similar description of the last 3-year trajectory of the University of Michigan football program in the playoffs. The first year, you lose big, blown out by Georgia. The second year, you lose close, almost getting by TCU. The third year, you win it all. Elma now, football-wise, has gone through 2 parts of that cycle, so come back in the fall, and we'll see where that goes. Elma basketball, a little lower on that mountain, but starting to climb it, coming in already with 10 wins. Jump ball underway, and we are going here as Overway wins the tap. It's going to be Egekeza, Overway, Wrestler, Scott, and Marcus Bolt for Calvin. Alma counters with Walker, Boffman, Riley, Colton Meister, and Gabe Bordeaux, a very familiar starting lineup for Coach Fitzpatrick. Ball tapped out of bounds. And we'll get things back underway a mere 9 seconds into this one with Scott inbounding it off the sidelines. Overall, with the exception of Egekeza, it's a pretty young Calvin unit, and Egekeza says, well, the senior citizens can get the job done too, as he drives it in and lays it off the glass. A very talented senior that has been a nemesis for MIAA teams for 4 straight seasons. Tyshawn Walker at the Elma end, drives in and just taken right out of his hands by Scott. Clean steal in the lane. And Calvin with the 2-0 lead brings it back. They led for 39 minutes and 9 seconds of the matchup against Elma on the first go-around. Bolt from the Wheaton Academy down in Illinois, outside, now down to Overway, back out Bolt, 3-point look, good.
Whoa,
what a start here for Calvin.
Bordeaux's got to get a hand up.
5 quick ones for Calvin, less than a minute in. And certainly not the start that Elma wanted, eerily reminiscent of what happened a couple of weeks ago. Tyshawn Walker coming off the terrific game on Saturday. Bounces it to Meister at the foul line. Colton will bring it out off to Bordeaux. 3-point try. In front of the rim, no good. And underneath the bucket is Wrestler, the sophomore, with the rebound. Quickly up the floor, bounced into the lane. Jump stop, little baby hook from Overway. Gets his own rebound out the miss. Put back good.
Meister's got to get that rebound and a quick timeout, and I think it's a good one.
Mike Fitzpatrick stops things. 7-0 Calvin early. We'll be right back. We've heard Coach Fitzpatrick talk about this, that one of his frustrations this season has been multiple games with slow starts, falling behind 12-2 against Kalamazoo. Of course, the big halftime deficit against Calvin in the first game, a similar halftime deficit against Trine on that first go-around, and now down 7-0 here in the first minute and a half tonight. Tyshawn Walker out of the Alma timeout to the foul line, drops it down low. Meister over the top of Overway, a little bit long. Boffman has the rebound, knocked out of his hands by Egekeza, but out of bounds. Elma gets this one back.
Thought they might call a foul on Egekeza there. Pretty good contact.
Net result's going to be a baseline inbound for Elma, either way you look at it. Boffman off to Meister, drives to his right, tries to kick it out, goes through the fingertips of Bordeaux, stolen away by Wrestler, and ahead to Scott. Up and over, a beautiful move to get around Walker, and Jordan Scott's got his first 2. It's 9-0.
Meister's too tentative against Overway. Got to go right at him, and it's going to earn Meister a spot on the pine here at the next whistle.
That looks like Xavier Glenn will come in at the next stoppage. Connor Riley, rather, with a couple crossover dribbles now off to Boffman. Riley in the top 15 nationally in minutes. Boffman drives, little scooper comes up short off the awkward angle. And Overway, as you said, averaging a double-double, pulls down the rebound. Pass down to Wrestler along the baseline. Looks underneath, feeds it back out to Scott. Scott with the lefty dribbles. He made the late bucket to secure the victory against Olivet. Now down into the post, Overway. A nice spin move, gets himself to the bucket and lays it up and in.
The Scott's game plan was to be physical on Overway, knock him to the ground, and Meister just is not following that game plan, and you can see Coach Fitzpatrick very upset.
Overway has trimmed himself down since high school. That a big part of the story. Played at 290 pounds in high school, listed 250 now, and a beautiful little reverse hook. And Tyshawn Walker puts Elma on the board, but trailing still 11-2. Bolt sees it poked away by Bordeaux, out of bounds, back to Calvin. Calvin winners earlier in the women's game. If you didn't hear Jeff and Craig calling that, 70-55. Scots held tough through the first half, but things just gradually slipped away as the game progressed.
See what Glenn can do against Overway. Overway is quite a bit bigger than Xavier.
Calvin starts out on the perimeter. Egekeza gets a wide open look at three, comes up way short on that, rebound into the corner. Saved by Bolt, but he had a toe on the line, so this will be Alma ball.
Uchenna's a great basketball player. His shot has never been pretty. He shoots a very high percentage. Coach Saul has certainly made the right choice to decide not to fix that delivery. Right. Because it works just fine.
Yeah, 52.8% from the floor is getting it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Riley a couple of dribbles and pulls it back out. Lobs it over the top to Boffman. 11-2 Calvin, 16-15 to play in the first half. Boffman pushes it back in the direction of Bordeaux. He'll drive right down the lane, a little defensive switch, and Bolt just swats the ball right out of his hands.
It's a nice play by Bolt.
He'll bring it back the other direction. 4 minutes into this one, 11-2 Calvin. Overway on the left side post. Back out to Scott. And now over Wrestler for three. Long on that. Rebound to Egekeza. And pops it over to the foul line. And off the window, Overway.
That was on purpose, too.
They all count the same. 13-2, and Overway's got an early 6. Bordeaux to Riley as Elma's going to try to mix up the personnel again. Riley strong in the lane. Count that and one.
Kind of a weak foul call against the Knights. I didn't see a foul in there, Toph.
It's just kind of a weird slow motion developing shot.
I'm going to give it on to Egekeza.
The defensive player of the year picks up a foul. Boffman does. Oh, go ahead.
You would think the defensive player of the year would get a little more leeway than what he just got. But hey, Riley will take it. The Scots are going to need any points they can get here.
Egekeza with 34 steals on the season coming in, which sounds like a huge number until you realize that Boffman has 44.
Yeah.
Riley now for the three-point play, and he's got it. 13-5. Selma tries to get things going, and they will set up their pressure off the make. Bolt against Landon Moore-Pierce from Flushing, who just checked in. Head to Wrestler. Now over into the left corner. Trip Remersma has checked in. Remersma goes up top, left side, driving a nice little baby hook from Wrestler off the window, and it's 15-5.
That was a nice play.
Calvin doing good work here in the early going. Connor Riley from the top of the key, fancy dribbling, and now poked away. There's steal 35 for Egekeza on the season. Back 2-on-2, tucks it onto his shoulder, switches it to his right hand. Awkward, had a hard time getting that ball out cleanly. Elma gets the rebound, and they got numbers if they hustle all the way in. Riley going to try to do it against Overway.
It's a terrible play by Overway. He got way down under the basket. He was the only one out there, and he got himself inside the circle, which you're going to get called for the foul every time. I don't know if he got lost back there or what.
I suspect that he was concerned about a trailer coming up the other side of the floor.
Maybe that's what it was.
It felt like he was trying to defend two people. Riley was pretty much out on an island in front of the play, though. So it's the first on Overway, but Riley misses the free throw. Riley on the season from the line, 72%, but Elma's team percentage has fallen to just 64.1.
Trevin Winkle checks in from McBain.
McBain, Northern Michigan Christian, of course, the alma mater of Scott star Trevor Gernot back in the day. Riley makes the back end, makes it 15-6. And Calvin will lob it up over the top to Winkle to get clear of the pressure. Pass to Wrestler down on the left side baseline. Collins initially elevates to alter the shot, and that allows Glenn to spike it onto the baseline. Meister is the one with the big shot blocking numbers for Elma, but Glenn snags that one. 15-6 Calvin, a little over 5 minutes into this one. Overway at the left elbow, goes right to Riemersman. Drives to the baseline, runs out of space there. Passes it back out. Overway didn't realize that was for him, and they throw it into the backcourt. Collins runs back and chases it down.
Collins touched that first.
I think that should have been a Scott's bucket. They have ruled it over and back, saying that Winkle got there and committed, basically committed the over and back violation, which is helpful for Calvin because it negates what otherwise would have been an Elma bucket.
Yeah, Collins got to that ball first very clearly.
Donovan Collins decided he was going to join the race because he thought he could get an easy bucket out of it, and he was right, but it does not count. Riley bounces it to Glenn, stripped away by Wrestler and scooped up by Riemersman. Quick hands by Calvin here in this first 6 minutes. Keza, two-footed jump stop, now drives down the lane, leans the shoulder into Moore. Pierce goes high off the window. That was over the square on the backboard and good. Excellent touch from Egekeza.
It's been Egekeza so far, not Overway.
17-6. Walker going to spot up for three, trying to get it over the top of Wrestler, no good. Rebound comes out to Collins, now Moore Pierce, three from the corner, that's good.
That's what Elma would like to see.
An Elma rally might rely on a lot of buckets from Landon Moore Pierce, who is more than capable of filling it up in a hurry. 17-9. Egekeza, who has 4 early points. Overway does have 6, so a little more scoring from Overway, but you're right that Egekeza has been the primary presence in this one. Inside Overway, kicked back out to Winkle. Top of the key, Riemersman threw a nice screen, but stolen away. Great work by Glenn, and he gets it to Collins. Collins is back 1-on-3, saying, hey, somebody else come down here and help. Gets it back from Riley, comes up short on a triple, and Overway gets the board. Egekeza up the floor, has a little trouble getting through traffic, though, and Elma steals it back. So both teams with some takeaways here. Quickly accelerating is Walker, and he lays it off the window. As timeout. Overway has to lay back to avoid a second foul. Calvin pauses it. 12:54 to go first half. 17-11 Calvin. Back here at Alma College, Calvin with a 17-11 lead, but a little mini run from the Alma Scots to battle back into this one. 6-0 advantage to get back within 6.
Xavier Glenn made a big difference when he was in there. Really was bumping Overway out of the paint anytime he got in there. Meister back in now after getting some coaching from Fitzpatrick. We'll see.
We'll see if just being able to watch that from the sidelines may help Colton out, get a little idea for how the flow of the game is going. Jordan Scott has returned, and a steal almost from Bordeaux knocks the ball out of bounds. Calvin gets this back, but Elma clearly mimicking Calvin and getting hands on the basketball now. Matt Ambrose, another
if
Illinois.
Elma
Go ahead.
Gets on a little run, it's going to get very loud in here too.
Excellent attendance. Most of the high school teams from town are here tonight. Strong student section presence as well. Jalen Overway in the corner. Fed out to Ambrose. Back in the corner to Scott. Dribbles out, Overway got lost along the baseline, drives down. This time it's Meister with the block. He gets called for a foul, or Elma gets called for a foul on the putback. We'll see if this is Meister. It is. The first one looked like a clean block, and I think the foul came afterwards. And Overway will shoot a pair. One of the things that makes Overway so dangerous is he's an excellent foul shooter, almost 73%. Misses here, though.
Good three-point shooter, too, but the fans are going to let him know about every miss.
Well, that was a big part of the story against Elma. 4 for 4 from 3 as part of a 16 for 27 overall night. Second from Overway right in the middle. 7 points now in the first 8 minutes. 18-11. Calvin, the advantage is 7 for the Knights. Riley to Meister. Handoff to Riley. Meister going to hover around Egekeza for a sort of slow motion screen, driving past as Riley. His shot blocked away, out to Moore Pierce. Almost traveled, just kept the left foot down. Now back out to Bordeaux. Bordeaux drives in, kicks it over to Collins. 3 deep in the shot clock, and Collins cans it. And just like that, Elma's within 4. A 12-point lead evaporating for Calvin as Alma didn't flinch after the slow start. Now Jordan Scott clearly held by Bordeaux as he had him beat off the dribble.
Yep, Bordeaux did that one on purpose after he got beat.
Walker and Boffman return. Moore Pierce checks out after making a critical three-pointer. And then Collins answers with his own. Collins is second in the MIAA in three-point attempts.
Really?
Yep, despite not having a ton of minutes.
Yeah.
He's ready to shoot. Marcus Bolt with it for Calvin. Over to Ambrose. Deep 3, late closeout, short off the front of the rim. Boffman tips the ball forward, and it's run down by Bolt along the sidelines. A discombobulated play and then a foul on the floor, which may be to Elma's advantage because Overway was closing on the play, and Elma wasn't really ready to defend him. Foul is on Walker, his first. Wrestler comes back in. It'll be Egekeza's first breather. Riley on the bench before Overway, which is the reverse in terms of minutes played on the season, but I doubt Riley will be gone for long. Scott to his right, tries to get it inside, but almost steals it away. Meister comes away with it as they tried to feed Overway. Calvin by 4, 18-14. Elma has rallied from 12 down, spinning. Walker, nothing there in the lane, feeds it out to Boffman. He'll try his luck, comes up short on a floater, and the rebound to Jordan Scott. Scott up the floor, Boffman with the defense, can't get through the screen. What a job by Overway to screen off Boffman. Boffman had to go around like he's in a construction zone. And it's 4 for Jordan Scott and a 6-point Calvin lead. Down goes Bordeaux, back out. Meister jumper from the foul line, bouncing around on the rim, won't fall. Rebounded by Overway. Calvin righting the ship a little bit here,
yes,
with a couple of stops after Elma got within 4. Overway out high, hands it off through the fingertips of Scott, but he gets it back. Boy, you don't want the ball out there when Nolan Boffman's nearby. Now Scott will take a deep 3. Wow, just ice water. Jordan Scott with a quick 7. He's scored 12 3 times this year, but well on his way in the first 10 minutes. 23-14, 5-0 Calvin run to answer the Alma blitz. Bordeaux goes behind his back, guarded by Bolt, gets trapped underneath the basket, so he passes it across to Walker. Walker into the lane, up over the top of Wrestler. Looked like a little bit of contact there. Nice rebound. Meister, his putback won't fall either. Out to Collins and out to Bordeaux. Head fake, steps to his left, fires a 3. Got it! Bordeaux only 21% from 3 this season, but a big make right there. And Elma's within 6 at 23-17. Bolt to Ambrose. And now to Overway at the logo. Get it off to Bolt. Boffman right up on top of him. Bolt speeds by. Nice off the dribble take for the senior. 5 for Bolt, 25-17. Alma will bring Riley back and bring in Heitzman at the next stoppage. Down onto the baseline. Walker hedging to the inside, tries to pass it out. It's off the fingertips of Bordeaux, who just has to tip it to keep it in bounds. Now he'll drive to his left. 3 defenders around him, tried to get it through Meister, and the ball comes loose. 3 on the shot clock, now scooped up by Ambrose. And Overway will dribble it up himself. Ball loose, huge collision, no foul called in any direction. Walker through traffic, now a thud. And eventually the foul goes against Bolt. Not that Bolt has an argument that there wasn't a foul, but he could say there were 7 fouls before mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have stopped it before I was the one who got called.
Almost a fresh 5 maybe here for the Knights.
It's 3 Calvin
fresh
players. Was there a 4th?
I believe so.
Okay, well, let's see. Brady Ewing from Petoskey is in for the first time. Winkle returns. Egekeza returns. Oh, you're right. And Dane Harvey, younger brother of former Scott star Stephen Harvey, checks in for his first appearance. Riley and Heitzman for Elma, as we said. Glenn back in there as well. Overway to the bench for the first time in the game, and that sets up Glenn for a turnaround jumper, and he converts it immediately. Alma again within 6, 23-19. Backcourt pressure causing a little bit of trouble. Ressler has to go backwards to Winkle. Gets it across the timeline. Over to the senior Egekeza. To the foul line. Dumped by Riley. Goes left to Ewing. Oh, he traveled with it. Could not put the brakes on. He tucked the ball on his hip, but then decided to stop. And a traveling violation on the freshman from up north. Ewing, a supply chain management major over at Calvin, who has added some of those types of programs with their recent conversion to a university 4 or 5 years ago. Inside Riley, fed back out to Glenn. Crossing over, Boffman into the corner to Glenn, back up top Riley. Riley steps right, nice screen by Glenn, and that sets up Riley for a big make. 4-point Calvin lead with 7:25 to play in the first half, and the pass too slow in the backcourt set up Riley to tip it away right to Boffman. Elma with the steal and a whistle. What's the call here? The trail official. Do you know what we got here, Jeffrey?
I have no idea what he's calling.
Is there a clock issue, perhaps?
Maybe something administrative?
I suspect so, because I don't see a foul call.
Must be something on the administrative end.
Shot clock's still red 30. They've moved it to 27, so I think maybe it didn't
start.
Reset, or start. But Elma keeps the turnover. Now within 4. Riley into the lane to Glenn. Steps to his right, fouled. And Ewing throws his hands up, saying, hey, what am I supposed to do against this guy? And I don't think Bill Saul can leave Jalen Overway on the bench for long.
I was thinking the exact same thing, and so's Coach Saul.
Yep, Overway hops up.
And he may sit back down.
Not yet.
Yeah, he's pump faked
maybe.
Twice.
Yeah.
Some indecision from the Knights.
Glenn from the line makes the first.
Wasn't pretty, but it went down. Low liner.
Xavier has struggled from the line a little bit this season, a little under 50%. But that make gets Elma within 3. It's as close as they have been since the opening moments. Second one, no good. Long rebound out, tapped. And Egekeza almost loses it to the baseline. That ball's still loose, and it's stolen by Walker. Elma's going to have a chance to get within 1 or tie. Heitzman hands it off to Walker. Elma's aggression going after the basketball, paying off once again. Walker to Glenn, now to Moore Pierce. Over to Riley. Goes through his legs, now over to his left. Over to Heitzman, the Idaho product. Over the big man Overway, no good from 3. And the rebound to Winkle down underneath. Calvin up 25-22. 6:35 to play in the first half. Overway along the baseline. Passes it back out. Ressler open, look for 3, short. And Glenn gets the rebound away from Overway, and the fans love it.
It's a big-time board by Xavier Glenn.
Walker to Riley. One-on-one, looking for some motion. Nobody else moving for the Scots at the moment, and Riley loses it off the dribble. Ressler knocked it away. Calvin the other direction, straight down the middle of the lane. Stripped away by Walker. 2 hands on the ball away from Egekeza. Back comes Alma. Heitzman into Glenn. A lot of contact as Winkle landed on Glenn's back, but Xavier just plays through it and lays it in. Alma within a point. And a backcourt whistle against Moore Pierce. You hear what the students thought of that one. Not a shooting situation. Bolt returns. Winkle takes a seat, as does Ressler. So it's Harvey, Scott, Egekeza, Overway, and Bolt for Bill Saul and his 16-3 Calvin Knights. Alma 10-9, trying to rally from a 12-point early deficit. Egekeza slide step, crosses over, off to Harvey, now to Bolt. Scott to Egekeza on the right, over in front of Elma's bench, and a whistle away from the ball, I believe. And it's going to be Meister against Overway? It is. So that's 2 on Meister. That's one Elma doesn't want to see. They'll go right back to Glenn, who has been great, but didn't get much rest.
No.
5th Elma team foul of the half. And Bolt will look for someone to get it into along the baseline. Just hands it to Egekeza. Elma kind of forgets to defend him. He steps in, tries a fall away, short on that, and grabbed by Riley. Riley to Walker, spot up 3 in transition. Well, short, long rebound out, fight for it. Scott gets there first. He's back, no numbers, 1 on 4. And he'll wait for Harvey. We saw Stephen Harvey fire a lot of 3s from that position, but this one won't fall for little brother. And back comes Walker, blocked by Scott, falling out of bounds. And this will be Alma ball.
Scott's trying to take the lead here. They're going to bring Collins back in. Trip Remersma back in for the Knights. It'll be Elma basketball beside their own basket. They've come from 12 down to trail by 1.
Elma will erupt, or the gym will erupt if Elma manages to take the lead. Collins, who hit a big 3, returns. Now more Pierce to Walker in the corner. Tyshawn spins to his right, drives, goes out the window, and there it is. Elma on top for the first time tonight. And a whistle after the bucket. What is the fans do not like it. Bucket will count.
Tyshawn's going to get a technical.
A little too exuberant after taking the lead. And while Elma will be thrilled with the enthusiasm, it's a costly mistake to make. At least committed after Elma got the bucket. It does not cost a possession along with the foul shots. Overway first is good. 8 for Jalen Overway. It's the second foul on Walker as well. So Tyshawn trying to explain himself to the officiating crew. And Overway hits them both. And Elma's lead lasts for approximately 1 second.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting stat. Calvin may lead this game for a really unpredictable number of or amount of time. Full court pressure from Elma. Scott asks for a clear out. 27-26, Calvin back on top after the technical foul free throws. Out high to Scott. Now lob down to Overway, bracketed by 2 Scott's defenders. Overway crosses it over, tipped away, trying to get it to Egekeza. Ball loose, scooped by Riley. 2 on 3 for Elma. They'll go left because Collins left uncovered. 3 in transition, and Elma right back on top.
Big triple for Donovan Collins.
This lead gonna last a few seconds for Elma. 29-27. Can they get a stop and push it out a little further? They trailed this game by as many as 12. Driving in, Bolt wrestling the ball out to Overway. Can he hit a 3? He was deadly from out there in the first game, and he hits another one. The big man from long range. Calvin retakes the advantage at 30-29. Pardon me, I keep crediting Calvin with a 12-point lead. It was 17-6. The lead was 11. Inside Glenn, just off to the right. Overway adds another rebound to his tally. 30-29, Calvin. Egekeza through the lane, lays it up off the glass. Boy, that's a big part
what he does right there.
That's a big part of why that shooting percentage is so good. That he gets in close. So handy with the ball off the dribble. Riley in through a triple team, partially blocked. The entire Calvin unit collapsed on Connor Riley. And get the rebound and feed it out to Trip Remersma. Calvin by 3, Alma led briefly by 2. Down low to Overway. Fed back out. Bolt dribbles inside the 3-point line, leans in against Bordeaux, draws the foul. He'll shoot a couple. Mike Fitzpatrick livid with this call.
It's not being called both ways at all.
Xavier Glenn with a tap on the head. I think he's ready for a breather. Not sure he's going to get it.
I was going to say, he might be asking for one, but there's nobody in the cupboard. It's going to be Sam Lapine.
So Lapine will check in against his former team. Bolt well short from the foul line. Lapine, the Elma native, went to Calvin for a year, knows all of these faces. He will now match up with his fellow Calvin center, Jalen Overway, to box out for this rebound from Marcus Bolt. Not gonna matter as Bolt makes it. 6'4" Bolt and a 4-point lead for Calvin. Glenn exhausted, Meister on the bench with 2 fouls at the moment. And that means Elma calls on Lapine, who flashes to the top of the key, makes the catch there. Over to Collins. Collins crossing over, trying to get away from Remersman. Now no look pass into the corner to Boffman. Boffman, who had a great game, almost double-digit rebounds, feeds it to Lapine, misses off the window. Nice pass from Boffman there, but Lapine could not convert. Calvin the other way. Overway going to try another triple. This one no good. Lapine right out on his face and grabs the board himself. Back comes Boffman. Tried to go in the corner. Good hands by Ressler, but he cannot chase it down as it goes out of bounds. Elma ball with 2:20 to play in the first half. Calvin by 4, 33-29.
I think Ressler thought about diving after that one, and it's one of those deals where you look to see what kind of reception you're going to get. And there wasn't anybody moving where he was going to dive.
You've got that, and you've got the fact that there's the metal stairs that were right where he would have had to go. So probably a wise choice. They also get a stop afterwards as Riley's shot off the mark to the right. Calvin by 4 with 2 minutes to play in the half. Overway against Lapine. One dribble, now goes cross court to Remersma. Remersma spreads around, runs into Lapine. What's the call here? It will be a blocking foul on Lapine,
goodness.
who appeared to get out of the restricted area.
Oh, yeah.
And shots for Trip Remersma. Zeeland East High School product transferred to Calvin from Saginaw Valley. Did not score against Elma in the first game, coming off 6 against Hope over the weekend. And converts from the line. Limited free throw attempts for both teams. Calvin 4 of 6, Elma 3 of 5. And now Walker back. Oh goodness, okay, they're gonna wave off the shot. Whistles were blowing. The official should not have given that ball to Remersma.
No, he shouldn't have.
Made a basket for practice. Second try coming as Walker is subbed into the game. Calvin by 5, looking for 6, and they get it.
Well, we've established Remersma as a nice free throw shooter.
Yes. 3 in a row that only counted for 2.
Mike Fitzpatrick's really unhappy with the officiating. And I think he's got a beef on some of them.
Currently hollering at his players.
He is.
Minute and 47 to play till halftime. Elma briefly led by 2, rallying from 11 down. They're down 6 right now, and Egekeza now into the Elma students.
Like right there, Egekeza made some pretty substantial contact with Riley.
Elma gets the ball off of Egekeza's fingertips. Minute and 43 to go. Now Egekeza knocks it loose. Brian Walker will get there, and then a foul. Egekeza chasing after it.
That's about 3 or 4 bumps that Egekeza got away with.
So, you know, both teams have had certain moments in this game where a lot of physicality and hand fighting.
Yeah, there was the one that Bolt got called on after you said 7 other fouls could have been called.
It's 2 on Egekeza, but only 5 team fouls on Calvin. Not a shooting situation. Elma has Glenn back in there after getting a couple of good minutes out of Lapine when they needed them. Walker to his left. Glenn sets the screen. Walker open from the foul line. Shot off to the left. Rebound tapped forward by Bolt, who then grabs it. Elma's got him double teamed, but he'll get it out of there to Scott along the right.
Got to hit that shot from close in if you want to pull an upset.
Jordan Scott to Marcus Bolt for Calvin. Lob down into the high post to Overway. Kick back out. Scott open 3. In and out. No good. Overway couldn't squeeze the rebound. Had one hand on it, but ended up just tapping it over to Bordeaux.
Got to have stronger hands than that if you're Overway.
Inside walk. Riley might have gotten away with a travel. Might have been fouled. Who knows? Elma will take a bucket. Just kind of heaved it up. Now backcourt contact, and Riley gets called for the block there. And that'll be another 1-and-1 for Calvin. Calvin by 4, 35-31. 53 seconds to play in the first half. Elma brings Collins back in for Bordeaux. So it's Collins, Walker, Glenn, Boffman, and Riley. Luca Ressler at the line. Won a state championship for Grand Rapids Catholic Central. Give you some idea how strong GRCC was. Ressler was not a starter on that team. Now a starter for Calvin as a sophomore. First free throw from Ressler is good. Second also up and in. A couple of late conversions from Calvin at the free throw stripe, stretching their lead back out to 6. But Alma staying in contact here. Need to get through these next 45 seconds. 3 from Collins would go a long ways, but it just went a long ways.
It went far too far, yes.
Scott looking inside to find Overway. Alma steals it away. Collins realized he was not going to have numbers and waits. 6-second differential, shot clock to game clock. Alma has waited too long to go 2 for 1.
I think Mike Fitzpatrick wanted them to wait here, and they will.
So they're going to ISO this up and try to just leave Calvin with only a few seconds left in the half. But they're going to get a foul first as Riley dribbles to his right, and Dane Harvey bumps him. Calvin doesn't mind that. That's the 6th foul of the half.
It's going to turn the shot clock off, however. Elma can milk this one for a last shot.
That's a good point. That does sacrifice Calvin's ability to get the ball back. Now Riley goes to the left instead of through the screen. Off to Walker with 5. Dribbling to his right from the foul line. Extra pass, Boffman reverse at the buzzer, but it bounces away. Boy, Elma got a good chance. But within 6, Calvin led by 11. Elma came back to lead by 2. It's 37-31 in favor of the Knights at the break. We'll pause, come back with a Pizza One halftime report about 10 minutes from now. Calvin retaking the floor here at Alma College. Alma still in the locker room with about 3:48 to play or to go on the halftime clock as we welcome you into the Pizza One halftime report. 37-31 Calvin at the break in a back and forth first half that for a while looked like Calvin was just going to run away with things, jumping out to an 11-0 and 17-6 lead. But Elma answers back, claws its way back into the action, takes a 1-point lead at 27-26 for approximately 1 second, but then extends that out to a 3-point lead or a 2-point lead briefly before, or I guess it must have been 26-25 was the Elma lead, and then 29-27 for about a half a minute before Calvin retook control and stretched it to 6. But Elma showed that they can play with the Knights here. They're going to have to play probably their best half of basketball to come away with a victory, but they've got a shot this evening.
You are right. They will have to play their best half of basketball. There's no doubt about that. They played well after the poor start in that first half. Obviously, have got to continue doing what they're doing as far as creating turnovers and turning those turnovers into offense. They did allow Calvin to shoot 54.2% in that first half, and the Knights only lead by 6. That's a big positive if you're the Scots, as Calvin shot the ball about as well as they could and still only lead here by 6. And I assume when I get down here to the turnovers, yes, Calvin turns it over 10 times.
And that's an interesting stat as well, Jeff, because Calvin leads the MIAA in not committing turnovers at only 12 per game. But it has been, when Calvin has struggled, it's been because of turnovers. You look at the game against Trine, 20 turnovers against the Thunder in the loss. The close win against Adrian, 16 turnovers. So while most of the time Calvin takes excellent care of the basketball, when things go wrong, the turnover bug can snowball on them a little bit, and Elma pushed them into that position as they rallied back from the early deficit.
I think a key for the Scots in the second half is going to be the defensive play of Colton Meister. Didn't play a ton of minutes in the first half, first because he was outworked by Overway, and then when he came back in, he was more physical, but picked up a couple quick fouls. Xavier Glenn had to play big-time minutes in that first half and played well, I thought.
He sure did. 2 of 3 from the floor, 1 of 2 from the line. Grabbed a rebound as well, only turned it over once, blocked a shot, and recorded a steal. That's about all you can ask for a big man at 6'6", trying to contend with 6'9", 250 Jalen Overway. No doubt that was something that Mike Fitzpatrick will be very, very pleased with and hope to see more of in the second half. Run through the scoring numbers. Riley leads the way for Elma with 8. Tyshawn Walker had 6. Collins had 6 with a couple of triples off the bench. 5 from Glenn, and then 3 apiece from Bordeaux and Landon Moore-Pierce. Meister held scoreless, though. That is something Elma will need him to step a little bit forward with. He doesn't have to go score 15 in the second half, but he probably needs 6 or 7 if Elma's going to have a shot here. Meanwhile, for Calvin, 12 points leads the way for Jalen Overway, as you might expect. 7 for Jordan Scott, 6 each from Uchenna Egekeza and Marcus Bolt. 4 from Luca Ressler and 2 from Tripp Riemersma coming in off the bench. Rebounds, 7 for Overway. 8 total, 7 defensive rebounds. But Calvin only with 3 offensive rebounds. Now, obviously, they didn't miss a lot of shots, which makes it difficult to get offensive rebounds. But still, Elma at least keeping them off the offensive glass fairly effectively. Overall rebound numbers are in Calvin's favor as Elma grabs only 10 rebounds total in the first half.
That's not enough. That's one thing they're going to have to solve as they go to the second half here, is to get the rebounds.
And that is the key statistical distinction between these squads. Also, Calvin's just overall defense, holding its opponents to only 64 points per game, but Calvin almost +8 in rebounding margin, Elma almost -5.
Right.
Both of those things play out. I guess they can't play out at the same time, but that is still a substantial edge that means way more possessions for Calvin if things continue in that trend. 37-31, Calvin with the lead, Alma with the ball as we start the second half. Tyshawn Walker from the top of the key drives in, extra pass to Meister, leans in, and there's his first 2. It takes literally 13 seconds.
Good first possession for the Scots, just what they needed.
Get them within 4, 37-33. Egekeza at half court. Elma led for 27 seconds total in the first half. Jordan Scott, they tried to get it to Bolt, anticipated by Bordeaux with the steal. Trailer, goes through Boffman's hands with Scott on his back. Alma does keep the possession, though. Over to Bordeaux. Little head fake, drives in, left the ball behind.
He got Bolt way in the air.
Sure did. Hit a big three in the first half with a very similar move and a step to his left. Inside, Riley hit hard, a late foul call. I don't think Riley will get shots out of this because he bailed out into a pass.
Well, he bailed out into getting annihilated. That's what he bailed out into.
That too.
But no, it's the correct call on the floor.
Foul called against Scott, which is his first. And Boffman lobs it over the top to Meister. Boffman held scoreless in the first half. He's somebody else Elma would like to get moving. Riley over to Boffman, drives across, extra pass. Meister, can he get another one? This time won't go. Rude rim. And Calvin dodged one there for sure. Bolt against Bordeaux, lobs it down low to Overway. One-on-one against Meister, now some help from Walker. Pass out, Bordeaux knocks another ball loose. Thought that he had tipped that right off of a Knight's fingertip, but it will be Calvin ball. Shot clock does not reset, but still reads 18. Bolt gets it right back after inbounding, triggers a three, misses that. Boffman gets the rebound. Good board there with Overway in the neighborhood. And Walker's going to race up the floor, go all the way in. Thought he could get a shot off before Overway arrived, but Egekeza, the number 7 shot blocker in the conference, spikes it from behind.
It's at least 3 for Egekeza.
Egekeza in, and this time Bordeaux's hands reach around and draw an easy foul call, and that's going to be Gabe's third. Only the second credited block for Egekeza.
Yeah, I remember 3 very specifically.
And now we'll inbound to Scott in the corner. Three-point look short, bounces off the backside into the hands of Meister. Elma still within 4 with the only bucket of the second half, 37-33. Connor Riley in, passes it back out to Boffman. Walker a quick look to the bench, and now steps in against Ressler. Over to Riley, back to Meister. Handoff, Walker, open three-point try, missed off to the right, spiked out. Good work by Meister, who couldn't grab that rebound but kept it alive where Boffman could. Boffman double teamed, looking for somebody who must be open. Goes to Meister, now to Riley. Riley briefly got away from Egekeza, now out to Bordeaux, who's wide open, 3 short. Bounce toward the corner, Boffman saves it, but right into the hands of Jordan Scott. Calvin will bring it back, still looking for its first points of the second half, 17:34 on the clock. Scott bounced down to Overway. Alma will double team when they get the chance to close on Overway. Kick out, Ressler 3, good.
That's the problem when you decide to double team.
Good inside-out action from Calvin. And Luca Ressler now with 7. It's a 7-point Calvin lead. Riley to Bordeaux. To his right, Bolt follows him. Back out to Riley. Working against Egekeza, who's had the defensive assignment against Elma's leading scorer most of the night. Meister from the foul line. Gets in, spins, fires, air ball, rebound.
Gotta get it back up.
Got to heave it up and just tossed it in the general direction of the backboard off to the left.
It's a good job by Bordeaux to know that that shot clock hadn't reset, though. Had nothing he could do.
Yep. Elma goes to Landon Moore Pierce. He hit a 3 in the first half, and we thought maybe Elma could heat him up.
Only played 8 minutes, 1 shot attempt.
40-33 Calvin. Calvin 16-3, 6-2 in the MIAA. Alma 10-9, 4-4. Egekeza gets it off to Bolt. Looking underneath, Overway left uncovered. Scott's broke down defensively a little bit there. They recover quickly enough to give the foul and force Overway to shoot it at the line.
Overway made way too many moves on that one. He just needed to catch, turn, and dunk.
I'm sure he did not realize that the Scots had vacated the neighborhood.
Instead, he went with about 3 spins and just about lost the ball.
Foul was called on Meister. I thought it was going to go Boffman, but it's Meister's third. And that's noteworthy for Alma. Overway's been excellent at the line after missing his very first attempt. 13 points now for Jalen Overway, averaging 20.5 a game and 10.5 rebounds.
Meister's very upset about that foul call.
Interesting, okay. Brings Glenn back in, who's played extremely well. Won't get a chance to rebound here, though, as Overway makes another. Overway now 5 of 6 from the line tonight.
Pure shooter.
42-33. Calvin back out to a 9-point edge. Their biggest of the night was 11. Tyshawn Walker going to try to say something about that. Misses a three well to the left. Bolt gets an easy rebound. That's the only one around. Egekeza in front of Coach Bill Saul. Lobs it inside to Overway. Alma again applies the double team. Can Overway find the right pass? Tries to get it across to Bolt. Has to make a low catch. Now the wrestler. Contested three over Riley. Short backside rebound off the fingertips of Moore Pierce, but conveniently right to Walker.
Scots need a bucket here.
Long pass ahead to Boffman. Kicked out to Walker. Extra pass. There's Moore Pierce. Double clutches a three. Got it.
Right, thought he was going to get somebody up in the air. Didn't do it, so just took it over top of him anyway.
Full timeout for Elma after the make. They're within 6, 42-36. We'll be back. Elma holding serve here in the second half. The margin is 6, which is what it was at the break. I got to whittle that down a little bit further. Calvin out front looking for win number 17 on the year and win 7 in the MIAA. Everybody looking up at Trine, although Trine looking up at Hope tonight, down 1 at the half at home. I'll try to keep an eye on that one for you.
Thunder are beatable. They're just extraordinarily fundamentally sound.
And they have now taken the lead with 13:25 to play, up 4 against Hope 43-39. Of course, a Hope win, and that would totally reshuffle the league standings going into the back half of the season. For court pressure, Egekeza makes a nice catch as Walker overruns the pass. And Egekeza brings it up, off to Wrestler. Down low Overway. Alma again brackets him, kick out Bolt, 3, good.
That's 6 points off of the double team that Calvin's gotten here in the last couple minutes.
Force Overway to make that pass at least. He averages 2 assists per game. Xavier Glenn for Elma. Couple of bounces of the basketball and now off to Walker with 15:15 to play. Over to Riley. 9-point Calvin edge. Riley threw a screen. Egekeza stays with him. Riley threw a triple team. Tried to get a pass across, fouled, and he's going to wish he hadn't been fouled because he got that pass through to Glenn and made the finish. But Marcus Bolt called for the foul first. Probably the right call.
Oh, sure.
Boffman, the transfer from Aurora, lobs it in deep to Walker. 15-minute mark approaching here in the second half. Walker to his right, tried to drop it off to Glenn. It got tipped up high. Walker gets it along the sideline. Step back 3 with Wrestler in his face, and he's got it. Big one for Tyshawn. He's got 9.
Tyshawn's got to be careful. He gave Wrestler a big bump after that.
Walker, remember, with a technical earlier in the game.
Scots can't afford to have him out.
Bolt speeds into the front court, pounded by Boffman. Nice pass down low to Remersbo. Leans back and lays it in. Sort of a half-court press breaker there.
Sure.
As Elma set up the trap just into the front court. Calvin by 8, 47-39. Moore Pierce gets free from Remersma, passes it left. Boffman steps in, little 15-footer, comes up short over the top of Bolt. And Remersma heads the other way. Stops well outside the three-point line, now down onto the low block Overway through the lane. Spinning Egekeza, knocked out of his hands, out of bounds. Did he touch that?
Yes, he did.
Yep, and that's one of those plays that often gets ruled back to the offense. When you review it on video, it's almost always touched last by the offensive player, and the officials concur this time, give the ball to Alma. Walker calls out a play as he brings it up, under 14 minutes to go, 47-39 Calvin. Tipped on a pass out looking for Riley, but Keza couldn't get there. Riley against a double team, bounced right to Walker, draws the defenders inside, pulls it back and fires a teardrop, and he's got it. 11 for Walker. He's the first Alma player in double figures, and the Scots have it back down to 6 once again. Bolt up, could have been fouled by Collins. Now picks up his dribble in a little bit of trouble. They flash Overway way up top. He's taken a couple threes from up here, passes it to Remersma instead. Tripp drives down, passes to his right, to Overway, triple team.
He traveled.
His right, comes up way short. Alma gets the stop.
I think he thought he traveled too, and that's why he came up short with the hook.
Moore Pierce transition three. Oh, the heat check came up short.
That was close.
That's what Alma wanted. Ball was not that close to going in, but it was a really good look, and that's what Elma's looking for there. It goes into the corner, out of bounds, back to Calvin. As Jordan Scott returns. Alma has forced Calvin to keep its bench fairly short here in the second half so far. 6-point ball game, Calvin with the ball and the lead. Keza sprints with Collins right beside him. Out to Overway at the top of the key, pump fake three, doesn't take it. Now to Bolt and Scott. Scott along the left sideline. One dribble, free throw line, Keza drives in, double clutch, blocked and spiked by Glenn.
I think Glenn needs a rest here pretty soon. He is going with max effort.
I'm sure that's what Elma wants.
He's kind of leaning on the shoulder of Connor Riley in there.
Remember that Meister has 3 fouls. Elma got a couple of crucial minutes out of Lapine in the first half and may choose to try that again here to recharge Glenn's batteries. In the corner, Remersma, open three-point look, a little bit behind the backboard, awkward angle, no good, had it halfway down. Rebound to Moore Pierce, who gets it away to Walker. 47-41, Calvin, still 12 and a half minutes, long ways to go in this one. Walker to get within 3. Short corner rebound, tipped away, and Moore Pierce called for a foul. Initially gasps, but then nods, and I think recognized that was probably
he came from behind. Mike Fitzpatrick wanted Tyshawn Walker to get him into the offense a little bit more there. These guys can feel the momentum in the gym, and they're all wanting to hit that big three to pull the Scots within 3, but need to just run that offense.
Bolt in the backcourt. See if Elma can capitalize as Overway gets what will probably be his one breather of the second half. Inside, nice pass to Bolt. Great feed from Brady Ewing. And Bolt gets the finish. He's got 11. The lead back to 8. Little defensive breakdown from Elma there. Surprised that, I guess Elma will at the next whistle get Glenn out with Overway on the bench as Walker drives in and gets himself to the line. That makes sense.
Yeah.
As soon as Overway subs out, you want to rest Glenn. Overway won't be out for long.
Yeah, I don't know right now, even though the foul situation for Meister is not too bad anymore, if you're not playing Glenn instead of Meister, the second that Overway comes back in, Xavier's played at an extremely high level.
He has been the most effective option for Alma tonight. Foul was on Ewing, his second. Walker misses the front end of the free throw.
Scots are having a little bit of trouble with the shooting.
Calvin with a decided edge at the foul line tonight, 10 of 12 versus Elma just 3 of 6. Jim suddenly goes silent. See if that helps Walker. It seems to. And the noise returns along with Tyshawn's 12th point of the night, 49-42. It'll be Bordeaux, Moore, Pierce, Riley, Meister, and Collins, as Walker also will take a seat after making that second free throw. Calvin gets it ahead to Remersma. Extra pass across. Great vision there by Tripp Remersma to realize his shot was hard and Ewing's was easy.
This group breaks the press a lot better than when Overway's in there.
Keza now will try to make the press irrelevant. Nice move over the top of the scorer's table and avoiding the computer over there.
I think there's just a little bit more speed. Overway comes back in now.
Sure, well, I mean, that makes sense. Overway 6'9", 250. He can only run the floor so quickly. If you go to all guards, a little bit easier to deal with the pressure. Very few teams at this level run a press as much as Elma does, so Calvin may have to experiment a little bit, and I think they may have found a recipe that will work. Moore Pierce going to try a three with a hand in his face, and that's 3 triples for Landon Moore Pierce. Elma again closes within 6. They got down to 4 once in the second half. That's as close as it's been since the break. Inside Overway. Alma has really taken him out of the scoring action. And now a steal and a save to keep it in bounds from Riley.
Great job by Connor Riley right there.
Overway with 14 tonight. Remember, he had 42 a couple weeks ago against Elma. Moore Pierce tried it again. Reimers saw it coming and blocks the three and grabs it in bounds. That's the most, the most valuable block shot, the one where you also get the possession back. Down low, Overway. This time beats the double team. Riley a hair late, and the jump hook good from the Holland Christian product. 53-45, Calvin by 8. Riley for the Scots, leans to his left, dribbles in against Egekeza, always a tough challenge. And Riley finds nowhere to go. Out to Collins. Collins speeds down, goes up high, blocked by Scott. Reimers with the rebound, 2-on-3, but he's in front of a couple of Scots, goes all the way, stumbles a little bit, might have walked with it, tip up from Egekeza.
He dragged that back foot pretty badly.
That's what it looked like to me as he lost his balance. But Calvin stretches it to 10 within a point of their biggest lead of the night. Midpoint of the second half coming in 3 seconds. Moore Pierce against Reimers. To his left, going to try to do it with a finger roll off the glass and got it.
Yeah, Moore Pierce is feeling it.
11 for Moore Pierce. His career high is 33-21 against Kalamazoo this season. He's got Elma within 8. We'll pause and be back. Elma with 10 more shot attempts than Calvin tonight, but shooting 37.5% to Calvin's 52.6. Calvin leads by 8, 55-47. Elma just hanging around.
Yeah, they got to keep pressing.
Calvin has been able to shut the door right at that 6-point mark every time.
Eventually, a couple of these calls will go Scott's way.
Overway and Meister back deep as Calvin has the length of the floor to go. Moore Pierce continues on off a terrific second half. He's got 11 on the game now. Wrestler all the way in, misses the layup. Rebound tapped out though to Scott. Now Wrestler will try for 3 instead of 2, and he'll take the second one over the first. He's got another one. Second 3 of the second half for Wrestler. And
they're not really guarding Wrestler much.
Calvin matches its biggest lead of the night at 11. Walker against Egekeza, who gets a hand on that pass, tips it way up high in the air. Good work by Moore Pierce to camp under it. Now to Bordeaux, steps to his left, fires a 3. This one won't fall. Egekeza up the floor with Bachman with a lot of contact that also doesn't get called. Inside, Overway misses the layup. Rebound, Walker. Walker up 2-on-3, going to try to go all the way against Scott. Shot partially blocked, leans across. There's a foul for sure, and Bolt knows it.
Scots need to infuse a little bit of energy again here. They look like they're running out of gas a little bit.
Calvin officially credited with 6 blocked shots tonight. We feel like it's at least that many.
Yeah.
Elma with just 2. Walker with Elma down 11. Shooting just under 60% from the line this year and can't get that one to go. Heitzman in for Bordeaux. Egekeza will take a seat for Reimers, so it's Reimers, Scott, Bolt, Wrestler, and Overway, the 5 for Bill Saul and the Calvin Knights. Saul in his 5th season, 83-32. Second free throw also no good, and Elma not doing itself any favors when it does get to the line. Calvin by 11. Wrestler who just hit a big three, bounces it into the high post to Overway, tries to feed it back out. Elma got fingertips on it and knocked it out of bounds. Scott came very close to touching that along the sidelines. Officials trying to sort this one out. It will be Calvin ball.
Okay.
Down low now, one-on-one Overway, no double team, and he's going to try to lean through it. Gets across, the help comes from Moore Pierce. Overway gets his own rebound though, goes to the left side and now finishes.
Massively.
(60-47), Calvin by 13. Meister to Boffman. Almost got to stop the bleeding here before this gets away. Walker handoff. Meister tried to use the window. Comes up short. And another one and done possession for Alma. Gordon Scott to his left. Lays it up over the top of Meister, and that's good. Now a 15-point Calvin lead. Calvin has really balanced the scoring tonight. Overway in charge with 18. But 10 from Wrestler, 9 from Scott, 11 from Bolt, 8 from Egekeza. Walker through the foul circle down the lane, tries to dish it off, and it goes off the fingertips of Meister. Last touch by Overway, but that was mainly luck for Elma. And Meister takes a seat. Glenn is reloaded and ready to go. Elma had a good opportunity there if Colton could have caught that. Boffman heads to the Gatorade jug as he subs out. Riley flashes into the corner for the Scots, who trail by 15. Egekeza knocks the ball loose once again. Fowler's hands so quick. Alma keeps it alive. Walker, step back three, deep in the shot clock, gets a piece of the rim. Heitzman gets the rebound, spins and fires, and he's going to get himself to the line.
Scots get a little bit of a break there. They have to convert these two.
Heitzman, an all-conference player back in high school in Idaho. Foul on Riemersma. Family ties for Heitzman to the state of Michigan and wanted a program that really cared about player development. Landed here in Elma, makes his first free throw. 62-48, Calvin by 14 with 7:38 to go. Second one up and good as well. So a pair for Heitzman. And Riemersma makes a nice catch in transition, drives in, dunks it, and one. A tap of the hat echoed by the Calvin bench. And they love that one. Heitzman called for the foul, but Calvin that time punishing Elma on the press break. 15-point Calvin lead with 7.5 to play. And Riemersma converts the three-point play. Or sorry, Bolt. Wait, was that Bolt or
Riemersma?
I was gonna say, okay. Similar haircuts, but not similar numbers, and Bolt's on the bench right now, so I ought to be able to figure that one out. Connor Riley for Alma, working against Egekeza, spinning right, left, nowhere to go. Back out to Glenn at the top of the key. Xavier does not want a 23-point three. Going to dribble down, though. One-on-one against Overway, wins that battle. Nice work, Xavier Glenn. Give him 7. Alma spends another timeout.
Mike Fitzpatrick saying, I didn't call a timeout. I didn't call a timeout. Inadvertent whistle by the official.
It's a very common spot. Elma almost always calls its timeouts after made baskets.
I was just going to say, the Scots need to be more aggressive going at Overway in the post. For all the things that Overway is great at, he is not a good shot blocker. Averages under a block per game.
Up the floor, Wrestler to Winkle, who's checked back in. Nice catch by Overway as Glenn overcommits. Into the lane, quadruple team, spiked away by Glenn as he recovers defensively and stolen by Heitzman. Moore Pierce gonna pop it in transition for 3, no. Rebound tapped around underneath.
Got on the rim for a minute, but.
Wrestler for Calvin. Calvin making a dedicated effort to get it inside. Now a kick out.
He's out of bounds.
Exactly, Riemersma had his heel on the sidelines. And I understand why Calvin had some success going inside out with Overway recognizing the double teams and feeding it back out. But it's clear that they want to get it to their big man in the post.
Yeah, no doubt.
Calvin leads by 14, 65-51. Elma hung around for the first 6 or 7 minutes of the second half at around a 6-point deficit, but Calvin has stretched it. Riley to his left. Boy, he has just had Egekeza on him like glue all night. Extra pass. Heitzman down low uses the dribble, which might have taken too long.
He can't put that on the floor.
Shot then no good. Everybody gets tangled up as Wrestler collides with Overway, trying to bring it up the floor. Now to Egekeza. Will go under 6 minutes to play in a moment. Overway just inside the three-point line, a shade to the left of the top of the key. Hands it off to Winkle. Winkle drives against Heitzman over a triple team, clips the side of the backboard with the shot, and it's rebounded by Walker for Elma. Tyshawn right up the floor, feeds it left to Riley. Riley going to drive in himself, switches to the left hand, but misses. And Winkle gets the rebound. Elma very physical with him, but can't get the ball this time. And Egekeza into the front court. Quickly down to Overway, spins, goes left hand himself, air balls, but gets his own rebound and lays it back up and in.
That was a nice drop step, but then, my gracious, the shot was awful.
For a truly big guy, that drop step
it was
deadly.
pretty.
5:18 to play, Calvin by 16 at 67-51. Down the lane, Walker finds an opening, lays it up and in, little defensive breakdown. Now Elma wants the timeout. 14 for Walker to lead the way, but the Calvin lead is 14, 67-53, back in a few. January coming to a close here at Elma College with Calvin on top of Elma 67-53. Calvin's winners over Sammy Stormont Scots earlier tonight 70-55. The men trying to follow suit with a 14-point edge, 5:10 to play in the second half. Elma has hung tough through a lengthy stretch of this game. It's only been the last 8 or 9 minutes that Calvin has gotten itself a little extra breathing room. Full court pressure. Bordeaux puts a big bump into Bolt. Has been the trend most of the night. Allowed to play on. Egekeza drops it to Overway. Now out to Scott. Leans in. Has to go around Glenn. Awkward shot, but the rebound tapped up. Not even sure who's going to credit with that. Who did they?
They gave it to Bolt, but Tyshawn tipped it in.
Well, we'll call it Marcus Bolt's points. And just an unfortunate bounce for Elma on that one. Riley drags the foot. Avoids the travel call inside Glenn. Oh dear, another block.
Egekeza again.
Gets block number 7 of the night, and you are correct. That was number 0 all over that one. 16-point Calvin lead with the ball, so they can start to let the air out if they want. Nice bounce back for Calvin after the tough loss to Hope over the weekend. Wrestler to the foul line. Out to Bolt. What's the shot clock, which reads 8. Now Wrestler down low, Overway with 4. Got his back to the basket. Elma knocks the ball loose, 2-1, and out of bounds. The shot clock sounds.
They're going to call a foul before it. Oh, that's a weak call.
Xavier Glenn called for a foul with literally 1 second on the shot clock.
Tell you what, Overway's got to get those hands stronger, too. He's turned the ball over 50 times this season. And you can see how right there. Oh, I thought he was going to pop a 3. His three-point percentage is fabulous at 34%.
Certainly excellent for a big guy. Went 4 for 4 from long range in the first game against Elma, but This time the close one won't go. The turnaround jump hook spins off to the right.
I thought he was going to pop that three.
Well, he made one in the first half.
Oh, and it was perfect.
Yep. Bordeaux wanted the backdoor cut to Riley, and Riley could not get past Egekeza. The ball goes out of bounds, but off of Calvin. 19 seconds remain on the shot clock for Alma, and a timeout, Bill Saul. We'll pause with 3:41 to play. Calvin leading it by 16. Calvin 69, Elma 53 with 3:41 to play.
Poor Bill Saul was having a rough time getting any of the officials' attention trying to call that timeout.
Walker along the baseline. Feeds it in, Riley. Elma in the half-court set. Riley spins in the lane. Bounces it out to Collins, and the diminutive guard drives in for a scooping layup that bounces away. Scots can't buy one right now. Rebound to Bolt. He's in a little bit of trouble against the pressure. Now Wrestler will clear into the front court. Collins sneaks up from behind, and that knocks the ball out of bounds. Calvin gets it back in. Bolt to Overway. Meister behind him. Oh, a kick out off the mark and gets away from Egekeza into the backcourt. Egekeza now can't touch it. Atella was touched briefly there by Collins, and the ball goes out of bounds. Calvin gets this one back, so it's the second time tonight that Calvin's got a call in their favor. I think this one correctly on a backcourt situation. Bolt inside Overway, spiked away by Riley, comes back to Bolt. Bolt out to Egekeza, left wide open for three. Jumper no good, deep in the shot clock. It's never reset. Meister gets the rebound, but Calvin leads by 16 in the final 3 minutes. Walker inside, draws the defense over to Riley for an open corner three. Bounces off the heel and rebounded by Overway. Overway, yet another double-double tonight, 22 and 13. That's rebound number 14, I believe, once that posts in the stats. Down low, great catch up in the air by Wrestler to turn
Great
and
play.
lay it in. Not an alley-oop slam, but an alley-oop layup.
He caught a bullet and put it up at the same time. Good pass and good catch.
Calvin's lead now 18, its biggest of the night. Walker against Egekeza. Riley gonna say, have fun with that, Tyshawn. I've been playing against that defense all night. Riley in, tries to pass it out, and a foul underneath. Not gonna be a shooting situation. Coming up Saturday, Calvin will head home, take on Adrian. Elma on the road at Trine. 3 o'clock starts for both of those. Walker for Elma, down onto the baseline. Working against Wrestler. A little baby hook, gonna get himself to the line for two. Wrestler called for the foul. Points for Walker. That leads the way for Elma. Moore Pierce, the only other Scots player in double figures. Trine has gotten itself some breathing room at home, up by 8 against Hope in the final minute and 15 seconds. Walker, another miss at the foul line. It's been a tough night from the stripe for
Yes,
Tyshawn.
it has.
Just 1 of 5. Now 2 of 6. Couple minutes left in this one. Calvin going to get a victory, leading by 17. Egekeza 2-on-2 basketball, and Calvin gets the signal from Bill Saul to say, hey, use the time on the shot clock. Clock is your friend right now. Bolt Dribbles in, passes it back out to Scott. Shot clock now down to 6. So Overway can operate a swipe at the ball from Collins and a foul call.
Seemed like a lot of ball.
Looked like it to me. This one not a shooting situation either, but it'll allow Calvin to run another 20 seconds off if they wish with the semi-reset of the shot clock. Overway to Egekeza. Jabs against Riley. Steps to his left, behind the back, dribble to the right. Now Bolt. Shot clock at 8. Wrestler takes a glance up that direction, down to 4. Overway face up, gonna lean in, get all the way to the rack and lay it in with 1 second left on the shot clock. Beautiful play there for Overway, who has 24.
Didn't think he was gonna have time to get there, but
well, you know,
he did.
You noticed he didn't dunk it.
Yeah, that's what it is, and there was a reason for that.
Get it out of his fingertips just a little bit.
That's a high IQ basketball play.
Very much so. No good from Moore Pierce at the Elma end on a three-point try. Final minute of the game after an offensive rebound. Moore Pierce over to Riley. He'll try for 3 as well, and that one's good. Riley into double digits. Full timeout, Elma. 73-57, 48 seconds left. Back for that last 48 right after this. Every stat but turnovers trends to Calvin tonight, and that's why they're winning this game by 16. 52% from the floor to Elma's 34.5%. 6 of 18 from 3. 11 of 13 at the foul line. Almost 85% from the foul line and a 38-23 rebounding edge. Elma has won the turnover battle, forcing 15 while only turning it over 8 times, but that alone not enough.
Right.
Calvin just too many weapons and a little too good. Backcourt foul. Calvin will head up for a 1-and-1. Moore Pierce with his third. Don't know whether Elma is trying to extend the game here with only 46 seconds to go, down 16. I don't think so. Wrestler front end gets the favorable bounce off the front of the rim. 13-point night for him. It's a nice night for Wrestler, who has been a little bit colder in the scoring department lately. 8-0, 9-3-0, and 2 over his last
pure
6.
shooter, too.
Yeah, but 14 tonight to break that streak of single-digit games. Walker inside for Elma. They now down by 18. Collins going to try to slice into that. Hits his his third three-pointer of the night for Donovan Collins. The lead 15. 30 seconds to go. And a foul on Collins. Not sure what. Think. Interesting. Coach Saul disappointed in the physicality of the play, but his team's going to get a victory here. First one up and good at the line from Jordan Scott. He gets a double-figure night out of the foul line trip. He won't mind. And second one also good. Calvin only 66% from the line on the season, but they've looked awfully good tonight. I mean, sometimes a team will shoot 85% and you'll understand, oh, this isn't going to happen all the time, but they've looked like an 85% foul shooting team as Meister converts at the Elma end. 15 seconds left in this one. And Calvin can just dribble it out. Shot clock off. 77-62 going to be the final here at Alma College. And Calvin gets the victory, moves to 17-3 on the season, 7-2 overall. Nice, solid win. Elma took a brief lead late in the first half, but only led this game for 27 seconds. The remaining 39 minutes and change belong to Calvin once again. So we'll take a quick pause, come back with a post-game show after this. Calvin winners tonight, 77-62.